to speak about my experience with this program. I really have such lots of important things which I have learned with this program. I am Mr. Wahabi. I'm a young Moroccan student, age 16 years old. As far as I'm concerned, Access program is an important program which has improved my level of English in different fields and ways. From activities and studies, it helps me to know more about American culture. It has ameliorated my English pronunciation and taught me how to communicate with other people from different ages. It opened plenty of doors to know about people's experiences and how they live. I have also learned what's tolerance and how to accept other traditions and beliefs, especially American ones. In the center, I can express my opinions and I try to find solutions to some situations of life. Thanks to the Access program, I have improved this language in different skills like writing, speaking, listening, and lots of others. We have had some parties where we have fun and we learn American celebrations and their traditions. I can't forget the day when we visited the orphanage where we found some abandoned children where they live. Some of them are sick and handicapped, but we allowed to forget them their problems and suffering, and that made them very happy. We gave them cookies and candies, and we also painted on their faces, as what you see as the video. I also participated in Access Student Talent Evening. It was really an educational event. It was a good experience where I met lots of students from different cities of Morocco. I remembered Martin Luther King who said, I have a dream. This person who realized his dream, and from this person I learned to be optimistic and ambitious. We watched this speech which the President Obama has made in a college in USA. He spoke about his beginning, how he was and how he became. I understand that there isn't anything impossible in this life, thanks to the Access program. I want to say that that was very difficult of me to say that at the first, but now I feel relaxed.
Good job. Excellent job. Who's next?
My friend, she said that Martin Luther had a dream. What's your dream when you were a child? When you were a child?
When I was a child, let me say, when I was a child, my dream was to go outside and play. But the truth is, when I was about your age, how old are you guys? 16, 17, 18? When I was your age, I did have a dream for a more fair and just America. And I worked on these issues as a college student. Have you all ever studied apartheid in South Africa?
I'm from South Africa.
You are from South Africa. Well, at my university, do you all know what it is? You know what we're talking about?
Apartheid, yes, they know.
They don't? You don't know? Nelson Mandela. You know about that?
Yes.
Well, when I was a college student back in the 1980s, I went to university. I was 18 years old, and I got active trying to fight for justice to when my school said that, look, apartheid in South Africa is got to change, and that South Africa is a great country, but it would be greater without apartheid. And so we signed petitions, and that was the first thing I ever did to work on to work on justice issues. And I was just a little bit older than you. I was 18 years old, but I did have a dream at that time to make it so that all people could be treated fairly without regard to their skin color or their religion or whether they're male or female. These things are very important. And you mentioned Martin Luther King. Who mentioned Martin Luther King? Where's she at? Now, it's very important to understand something about Martin Luther King. He did not say, I have a complaint. He didn't say that. He said he had a dream. Now, if you ever think about it, it's a lot easier to sit around and complain about what's wrong than to actually get up and do something about it. He had a vision for a better world, not just a bunch of complaints about the way things were. And he did something about it, and you all are doing something about your life and making your lives better. And if you all combine your efforts to make your lives better, you're going to make this whole country and this whole world better. Who else has something to say? Anybody?
Yeah. Are you ready for the reception downstairs?
Well, yeah, we're about ready, but I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to say something. Yeah.
Well, first of all, on behalf of all the students, the Access students and the LC students, I would like to thank you for being here and for giving us the opportunity to meet you. Also, I would like to ask you a question. How is it like to be the only and first Muslim in the American Congress?
Well, I want you to know that that's an excellent question. Let's give her a hand for that question. And I want you to know that when I first started running, as my friend said, that in the United States, we run in districts. So every member of Congress represents a specific area. And the area I represent is Minneapolis, and I represent about 650,000 people. And most of the people, as my friend already said, are not they don't have dark skin like I do, you know. They are not Muslim, right? And so some people told me, you know, Keith, you can't win because people won't vote for you because you're not white and you're not a Christian. And I said, but you know what? But I do want clean air. I do want clean water. I do want education for all kids. And I do want to make sure that we get out of Iraq. And I do want to make sure that America is about promoting peace and that we promote diplomacy and friendship around the world. So I ran on these ideas. And it's true that some people did attack me for being a Muslim. Nobody really attacked me for being black. That really wasn't a big deal. I said, this must mean there's racial progress. But they did make a big deal about my religion. And I think the important lesson that I learned is that in life, if you try to do a good thing, some people might try to stop you, but you keep on pushing, right? And you will succeed, inshallah. So you can't be discouraged just because somebody has a complaint about you. You got to keep on marching, and you can't let them turn you bitter either. If you turn bitter because somebody opposes you, they win, right? So I ran and I reached out to everybody. I reached out to the people with disabilities. Where's the young lady who was talking about going to the school? Where's she? Where's she go? Oh yeah. I want to thank you for reaching out to people with disabilities. You know, there's prejudice against people with disabilities. You know, America had a president named Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Everybody say Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was a president. And you know what? He led America through the worst economic crisis our country ever saw, and World War II, and he did it from a wheelchair. You can't focus on what people can't do. You got to focus on what people can do. And just because somebody can't see doesn't mean they can't see a better future for their country. You see what I'm saying? And you know what? Just because they can't walk doesn't mean they can't take a step forward. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm trying to say. Don't ever cross somebody out because they have a disability. You embrace them, you befriend them, and you think about what they can do, not what they can't do. Okay? So okay, back to me being a Muslim, first Muslim. So when I ran, I won the race, and I swore in on the Quran, and I was the first person ever to do this. And when I did it, and when I swore on the Quran, I didn't do it to make a big statement. I wasn't trying to push my religion on other people. I believe if you want to do dawah, you do it by being a good example, not trying to beat everybody over the head with what you believe. Be a good example. That's all, right? And if they take it or leave it, it's up to them. But I did it because it was the book that was natural for me to use. And there have been people who are Jewish who used the Holy Scripture of the Jewish people, and I think that's just great. And there are people who use the Bible because that's the book that inspires them. But after it was over, you know, people wanted to know, well, you know, this book, why did you do this? I said, I used the Quran because the book inspired me, but I want you to know I also used not just any Quran. I used the Quran that was in the personal library of Thomas Jefferson. Now, Thomas Jefferson is a very important person in American history. He wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And he wrote, and so this Quran that he used, when people asked me, why did you use Jefferson's Quran? I told them, I talked about you. I told them that, you know what? Islam is not foreign to America. In fact, the first nation that ever recognized the United States as an independent nation was a Muslim majority nation, Morocco. I told them all about you. And I told them that Thomas Jefferson engaged in treaties with the king of Morocco at the time, and that we have a long history, and that Islam is not foreign to America, but is actually a part of American history and a part of the American modernity and reality. So that's just a little bit about me being the first Muslim, and I want you to know that my colleagues treat me well. I don't have any problem with my colleagues. Sometimes they ask me questions about Islam, and I'm not a sheikh and I'm not an imam, but I do my best, you know. And I also want you to know that there have been people who have said ignorant, bigoted, unkind things, but I don't let them provoke me. Now, let me just tell you guys one more thing. The worst thing you can do with somebody who's trying to provoke you is to reward them by getting provoked. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, this man was threatening to burn Qurans in Florida. Did you all hear about that?
Yes.
Now, we told the Ummah, we said, look, you know, this guy's trying to provoke you. He wants you to have a rowdy demonstration. Y'all know what I mean by rowdy demonstration? He wants you to kick over some trash cans, break some windows. He wants you to act up. Do you understand what I mean? Yes. Now, if you do that, he will get what he wants. He'll take pictures of you and then say, see how these people are? So the best thing you can do is say, we're very sorry this man has so little respect for the faith of other people. We're not going to be provoked. And this was even an occasion where the American Muslims were able to tell the American people a little bit of something about Islam. We told them that there was one occasion where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was in the masjid, and a man came into the masjid and he urinated on the floor. Some of you know the story, right? Do you know it? Yes. And you know, the brothers were offended by this, and they got up and they were gonna grab him, you know what I mean? Yes. But Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, get some water, clean it up. And you know what? Because Rasulullah was not provoked, right? He